friends, I am the Dungeon Tutor. Welcome! Today is the penultimate day of August, the 30th. We've only got one more. But this is a question from RPGaDay. So, this is a good one, and I think this is going to be a fun one to look around at other people doing RPGaDay videos, because this could show some fun stuff. The question today is, what's the most obscure role-playing game you've ever played? Now, I will freely admit that unfortunately most of my game experience has been pretty vanilla. I have played a lot of Dungeons & Dragons. I have played some Shadowrun. I have played Star Wars West End games, Star Wars the role-playing game. I have played a little bit on things like Exalted and Werewolf and Vampire. Werewolf the Apocalypse, Vampire the Masquerade, of course. I've played Rifts. I've done a number of games, but most of them aren't all that terribly obscure. Not something that I would consider to be obscure. Shadowrun is obscure in the blinding light of Wizards of the Coast's Dungeons & Dragons. But it's a pretty well-known game, and you can almost always see it represented in a good hobby shop. This game is not, both because it's old, the company that came out with it is small, but it's still fun, I don't care. This is Murders and Acquisitions. And when I say play, I've run it. I haven't played because I don't get to play very many games, and the ones that I get to play are almost never obscure. It's what my players have. So Murders and Acquisitions is a game about playing in a world kind of like ours, except darker. The value of human life isn't the same, and in corporate culture it's perfectly acceptable to climb the corporate ladder by killing the people above you and taking their jobs, or framing them and sending them to prison or something like that. People being killed is not uncommon, even though the laws still exist and you have to be smart about it. Just walking up to your boss and shooting them, pulling out a gun and shooting them, will not get you promoted. It will get you arrested. So you have to be smart about things. You have to work together. You have to undermine people. You have to, yeah. This is like Dilbert taken to darkest levels. So I have played this. I have run it. This particular game has a variety of ways of playing it. You can play in fantasy settings with magic. You can play in a apocalyptic setting, which is interesting. They have all kinds of alternate things, which is a kind of a hallmark of Nerdburger. They give you what they promise up front with a little extra. They have a cyberpunk version of this game. It's kind of cool. But the way we played it, I played what I know. Retail version. Take the same corporate culture of working through no matter what and occasional murder and mayhem, which is cool. And I applied it to retail, where the characters are all working in a retail store. Unimaginatively S-smart. And they were working against their rivals, the Mega Big Corp, which is a big box retailer. Might be familiar to some people. And they had to take out the model employee of the other company. Something they could work together on if they chose to. They kind of did. It was interesting. The character sheet itself looks like what you might imagine a person's dossier for corporate culture, with their skills being things like, all the fun stuff like, come on, there we go. Bodily grace, expectations management, loss mitigation, public speaking, social equivocation, force application, mental adaptation, things like that. And the players were allowed to do anything they wanted. Took on the situation a couple of different ways. Somebody brought a gun to what was really at that point not a gunfight. Somebody tried to run over the person in question with a forklift. It was amusing, very amusing, and I got to throw in that Mega Big Corp was using demonic agencies as one of their middle managers pulled out an actual fire spell at the group. So yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. This is not a game for lengthy campaigns, I don't think. You could. There are rules in there for doing just that, but yeah. I just kind of liked it because it was a quirky game for a fun one-off. And it was great. Had fun, pre-generated all the characters, the players got to choose their roles, and we just had fun lampooning the whole thing. So yeah, Obscura, sure. I think that game came out in the 90s. Nerdburger, I don't know if they've produced anything lately. They had some fun ones like Capers, which was a superhero game set in the 1920s. And they've had a couple others. I have one or two of their games, and they seem to be a lot of fun. But small, very obscure. So that's what I wanted to bring out in front of you. Again, check out other people's RPGaDay videos, though. You're probably going to see some pretty cool stuff. Maybe it'll be a source book that they have that just didn't get a lot of widespread knowledge. And if you do love obscure games, please come back here, because I am definitely going to be focused on bringing to light some of these games that I've stumbled upon that just aren't ones you're going to find in your local store, either because they're old and out of print, or because the company that made them wasn't all that well advertised or something. I've got games like Army of Darkness, the role-playing game. You may be familiar with the movie, but I didn't know there was a role-playing game until I saw it on the shelf at a used bookstore. So, there's that. All right, friends, thank you very much for joining me. I am the Dungeon Tutor, and I'm very glad to have seen you here today. I do hope that you liked my videos, and if you did, please like my videos, just so I know you're here, and I know that you did enjoy it, and I'm doing the right thing. That would be great. Subscribing would also be great. It makes me feel good knowing that somebody liked my stuff enough to want to see more. And if you are that person who wants to see more, I hope that by the time the next video comes around, you, yes, you, have had a chance to roll some dice, to play some games, to have some fun, but to stay safe out there. Until that next time, my friends, farewell.